Okay, so it's day 2, and my reflections on day 2. A couple of things that I think are really important is that the first one for me, which was quite a massive thing, like I basically run these programs where I get people to do the wealth plan, and the very first thing that they do in their wealth plan is their why. Why is this important? So I went and looked at my why, and I've got 5 whys, and they're amazing. It's like I want to help people, I want to create dream provider, I want to be able to live where I want to live, do what I want to do, send my kid to the school I want to send them to. But actually, interestingly enough, they're all wants, but they're not tangible. And what they made us do very specifically was they said, you need at least 3 to 5 tangible things to make financial freedom worthwhile. Okay, so I then went and created tangible things, actual physical things that you can put a number to. And that was quite an eye-opener to me, because I mean, I teach people about goals and outcomes and everything, and to be honest, that's how I've been most of my life. You know, I've told you the story of my boat, the story of my SLK, whatever, where like I had tangible stuff and I turned tangible stuff into reality. And yet when I looked at my own goals around wealth, I didn't have tangible stuff. And it was like a brick in the face moment for me. So that was the first thing that it was really, really important. So I've now gone and I've still got to do more work on this, creating actual tangible things, actual numbers. Because when you've got a plan, that's when you do whatever it takes to make that plan a reality. Whereas if it's esoterical and it's, then you just kind of go with the flow and you don't take that mesmeric next level jump. The next one, number 2 for me, which was really interesting, is willing to receive. Now, I've been always very good at creating things. I've been very good at building businesses, making money, whatever. But the point being is I've also been very good at giving it away. And you know, I often joke that, you know, in many companies we've had, it's like running a communist organization. And I haven't been that good at actually receiving, okay, and being, you know, good enough to go, this is my self-worth, I'm adding this value, I'm allowed to receive this. And they made us do this whole exercise around compliments, where, you know, normally someone comes up to you and shakes your hand and gives you a compliment, and the immediate thing you do is give them a compliment back, which by the way is discounting their compliment. It's also showing that you don't know how to receive a compliment. So they made us just walk around literally just accepting compliments, and it was quite surreal to actually do that, and to realize that accepting is as important as giving, basically. And so you need to learn to receive, and that's certainly part of my identity shift. Is certainly something I'm going to be really working on. Number 3 was change, and yesterday was really interesting because we didn't learn a lot yesterday. Yesterday was all about actually changing the patterns, and so what they said is that whenever you've got a belief or conditioning or whatever, you need to first neutralize it. So step 1 is neutralize, then you need to enhance the new reality, and then you need to install it, like in. So what they basically did is they did a whole bunch of exercises. Like they did pain and pleasure. So as an example, you can see I got a rubber band here. And we would take some of the negative beliefs or conditioning, and you would say it, and then you would literally do that. Okay. By the way, people move 4 times more away from pain than they do towards pleasure. So that's really interesting, okay, because, and then what they would do is they'd recondition you. So you'd have the pain of the old statement, and then you create a new statement with pleasure, basically, which was really, really interesting in terms of that process. Just some of the other things that they did was that we did VAX, okay, which is an acronym for visual, auditory, VAK, what's it, kinesiology, which is just movement, energy, and then sensory, which was just kind of feeling your heart. And there's a whole, again, you've got to be it. Like, this is the whole thing. Like, I've learned an incredible amount, and I can share with you some of my knowledge and whatever, but actually what I'm gaining from this is experiential. You've got to be in the room. Like, I mean, I found yesterday really interesting, frustrating even at times, because there were only kind of 4 new concepts, but all 4 of those concepts, they spent at least 2 hours going into, so you actually experienced them so that you had the step change. And I found that really, really interesting. And we even created our own song. So we created our own financial freedom song where we had to write from scratch. And it's all about creating experiences so that this stuff really sits. So again, I remind you, you've got to neutralize the old pattern path belief. You've then got to enhance the new conditioned path belief that you want. And then finally, you need to install, okay, in terms of that process. Mate, I'm coming in there, right? I'm coming in there. I am coming in there. And then finally, we finished off with the money personality. And the money personality was really interesting because you have the saver, the spender, the avoider, and the monk. Now, you know, the saver, I think, is fairly self-explanatory. Generally, you know, a first child, very conservative, wanting to look after money, basically do a lot from life from a place of risk or fear. I guess they don't want to take risk and they fear. Okay. Then you've got the spender, And they often like to spend money based on the fact that they actually, like, emotionally they're trying to get some need met. So they go out and spend, they don't like control, often a second board. And I'm going to talk a lot more about this, but it's really, really interesting. Then you've got the avoider, ostrich just bury their head in the sand. They're not interested in even looking at their finances. And finally got the monk, who's holier than thou and doesn't believe in money. But what they went is that, they went through like a whole family dynamic and what it means if you've got two people or if they conflict with each other, or, even in my case, I was married and you had two spenders, which was a problem because we just spent a fortune. And they basically went through a whole process of how you create balance and how you preset a structure, which is back to yesterday and all the learning lessons from yesterday. There's all this programming where they get us to do this every single day, where we read these affirmations on the attitudes of wealth. And, and effectively this is all about winning the money game. And then this one here is all about winning the mind game. And so, the whole day was about indoctrinating and changing the beliefs that we had from Friday and then instilling them and installing them on Saturday. And so, anyway, that's all from me on day 2. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to bringing day 3. If you did, subscribe to this, and most importantly, join the conversation. And if you're in Johannesburg or anywhere in the surrounds of Johannesburg, make sure you attend live. This is not something that I can give justice to by teaching the lessons, because you have to be in the room to experience it. And that's where you'll have the true transformational change that you deserve for you and your family. Cool. So, a fantastic year. Click the link. Bye.